So I assume that you're having the same issues as I've been having for the past few years, which is a self-taught guitarist getting stuck in his progress. When it was exciting to learn a few things from tabs when you first start, and then you can impress your buddies with playing Iron Maiden or Metallica, but then you realize that you lack some knowledge and some basics, right? That's the struggles that I've been having lately. Also, with the creative process, I've realized that I'm just kind of repeating myself, and sometimes I'll pick up the guitar. I guess I have the attention deficit disorder. I would pick up the instrument, end up playing for a couple hours. Absolute nonsense. Technology has been amazing. I'm 37, and anybody who is close to my age, I'm sure you guys remember, it would take like an hour to download just one page of tabs with a dial-up internet, which was a struggle, but at the same time, you really cherished that one page and you would stick to it sometimes for days, right? At least I did. So, with the amount of overwhelming information just being thrown at you with YouTube, which is a blessing and a curse, I think that it's hard for us to focus. What I found as of late is that going back to basics and isolating the overstimulation with media, with the internet in general. Um, I like to shop for antique books. We have a McKay's here in Nashville, and I went to this bookstore. They had a ton of literature, but I noticed there's a music section. And so, out of curiosity, I just started going through guitar section. They had a ton of theory and practice books, like modern, contemporary, classical, all kinds of stuff. And they were pretty cheap, so I just grabbed a bunch of them. I realized that I bought like a couple of dozen books for like $30. And the cool thing, how you can utilize technology these days, is you can go to like a thrift store or a used bookshop and pull up your Google app or Amazon. There's like a little icon that you can take a picture of an item and it will find a match. And then you could pull it up and see how much it is, brand new or used, and how people review this item. Especially with books, it's really good. You could pretty much find any book on Amazon. And so I took snapshots of these books. Most of them had good reviews. So I just grabbed a bunch of them that seemed the most appealing. So for the first time in many years, I realized that I'm actually developing, I'm growing, and I'm getting better. So I grabbed a bunch of these. Most of them are focused on a particular task. Even even if you're classically trained and you finish a conservatory or whatever, it's not going to hurt you. Like I live in Nashville now, so I grabbed this. This was like a couple of bucks, master country guitar. If you go through it, it can't possibly hurt you. Even if you're not a country player, there's a lot of cool techniques with finger picking that you could utilize even when you're shredding. And so some of my favorite ones that I've found, and you could actually buy these used on eBay and Amazon for pretty cheap. And here, so this one also they have really good reviews. So this is a guitar fretboard workbook by, sorry, I have an accent, by Musicians Institute. So quite a few of them are Musicians Institute. Brand new, they're a bit pricey, but again, these cost me like a couple of bucks each. And for example, this one, big chunk of this book is mastering the root shapes. And that's, I mean, when you think about it, it's really basic, right? Let's be honest, most of us who are self-taught and who can run some cool licks, most of us are lacking in the theory department. So what I did was I shut off all the internet, I turned off my phone, and I just focused on this thing. And I basically just learned the C note all over the fretboard. Now, I've been utilizing the shapes, like I know the pattern of the whole major, minor scale, all the 7 positions, which really covers the whole fretboard. And it's a bit of a cheat code that us string instrument players can utilize, because you can move the shape up and down, and depending on the tonality, depending on the key. But I still didn't really realize the notes that I was playing. And there is this funny story when Joe Satriani was teaching Steve Vai, when Steve Vai came to him, and then he said, like, play me such and such note or such and such chord, and he didn't know where it is on the neck. And Joe Satriani said, you basically don't know crap, so come back when you actually know every single note. I don't know about you, but for me, it was really intense for the first couple of years, especially. Then the few years, and then life happened. Moved to United States when I was 18 by myself, so I had to start from the ground up and do odd jobs and whatever. So music was off and on. Then I played in some bands, but then again, just being on my own, I'm sure you can relate. Bills happen. Some of you have kids, families, so you can't just really, sometimes you can't really pursue your dreams fully as you wish you would. I honestly, until recently, couldn't. Somebody would tell me to play some chord or some basic, like, or play a note, and I would have to actually spend some time counting and trying to locate a freaking note, even though I've been playing the instrument. And skills wise, I'm pretty decent, but I've been playing for more than a couple of decades, and I couldn't locate a note right away. And you absolutely have to. And yeah, after I started doing this, just basics, just absolute basics. For this for example, guitar aerobics. So this is more like a practice thing. There's like cool licks and stuff, and then there's guitar chords in context, and then it kind of makes you understand how the chords are built. It's for somebody hyper and who can't focus and sit still, it is challenging, but also it's easier, because when you open a YouTube video and then you start, even if you try to focus on an exercise, let's be honest, you will see something. If it's on a computer or whatever, you will see something else. You'll get distracted. If you have a free version of YouTube, you'll have ads that will pop up, and they're designed to actually distract you and maybe remind you that, oh, you were thinking to buy something, right? And then you're going to end up just not getting even through the whole video. So video schools are great as a addition, as a little bonus. I don't know about you guys, but for me personally, some of the most impactful knowledge and some of the most impactful lessons that I've gotten as a guitarist, especially in the beginning of this journey, was with physical literature, with something that I could hold, that I could go through, that I could turn the page, open it up in front of me, and then just work on it. Even if it takes hours, just play that until I get it right. Again, it was in a way easier. We didn't have as many distractions, but it will take some willpower and maybe some discipline to not, impulsively go to your TikTok or check your feed on Facebook. But I think that this really helps. This way, you don't have to look up tabs or whatever on your devices. This way, everything you need is offline. It's physical. Personally, for me, the sense of accomplishment that you get even from going through these exercises, and again, there are thousands of similar books to this, and if it made it to the printing press, you can't go wrong. Most of the time, you're not going to waste your money or time, because if it made it that far to be published and printed, it's probably decent. It's probably, at a minimum, not bad. So I urge you to try it out. Here's another example, by the way. So if you're more of an advanced musician and you have a better understanding of music theory, so this thing is for saxophone. And this is playing on the changes. And my favorite guitarist, Alan Holdsworth, was famously a big fan of saxophone players, and he was trying to make his instrument sound like a saxophone, and his phrasing was very non-guitar sounding. So to get out of your box, maybe buy some music pieces that are written for different instruments, or something out of your comfort zone. Again, country. I'm not a big fan of country, but again, the tricks, the skills, you can implement them. Just sit down and open a physical book and see it in front of you and play the exercises. Demands you to have more commitment when it's right in front of you. It's not going anywhere. I'm pretty new to this, but I'm just kind of poking in the dark, trying to figure things out, like I'm sure you guys are. So comment, let me know how things go for you. If some of you maybe have started trying to do this, try it out. It's been really working out for me. For the first time in many years, I actually have that excitement again to play the instrument like it's something new. It's worked for me, and I hope it works for you. Cheers.